guys, Bays and Will today, and we are not going to show you the SPC 95 Part 2 review, because there's going to have to be a Part 3, guys. I'm really sorry, really sorry. I got a little overconfident around power lines, and I happened to clip one full throttle and broke a motor. So a lot of you have been asking, which is great about where our video is in our community, and I think I mentioned a few times we broke it, and people really don't believe me. Yeah. But we broke. So, and to make matters worse, unfortunately there is a typhoon right now at the manufacturer location in Hong Kong, and the parts are taking longer to get to us than we anticipate. That's a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, it's a bad thing that I broke it and we can't finish the review yet. It's a good thing because I actually did see something that we can actually mention to improve upon.
Which they are.
The motor housing itself, if I got it there, basically what happened is, and we'll show you in detail in a second, the motor windings it hit the power line right on the edge right about here. And it didn't damage anything on the frame. This frame took it like a champ. But unfortunately, it hit right at the motor windings, and it knocked it, and it pulled the wires inside the winding and broke one of the windings. So
hit it
the motor just sat there, and yeah, that's like, I literally found the weakness to this quad.
Like a hole in one.
Yeah. I don't think I could have done that if I tried again. The quad actually flew very well. The little XM Plus receiver has great range. The 200 milliwatt capability. It's really nice. The camera has good video and all that. It's a CCD camera.
We have DVR of that?
I have DVR of crashing, yes. Right. I literally have like 2 minutes of DVR that I remembered to record for once, and that was the crash.
All right.
So we will show that. I did actually soft mount the motors, and that's one thing I would recommend anybody get. Is either take electrical tape, put 3 or 4 layers up to where you get about a millimeter and a half of electrical tape, and use that to mount the soft mounts, but you will have to take an X-Acto and cut out for the holes. Or you can get the little tiny silicones, and then we're working on getting those as well. Hopefully we'll have some very soon for silicone soft mounts to where you can just soft mount the motors with little silicone.
How many flights did you get on it?
I got about a dozen flights on it before I inevitably killed the motor.
All right.
It was pretty cool.
About how long were your flights?
Well, with the stock batteries, I was draining these suckers in like 2 minutes.
All right. Flat. So I know the first video you mentioned, right before you even flew it, you knew off the bat 350s weren't enough. So
they work. I mean, don't get me wrong. They do work. They're fine. I mean, if they come with the batteries, I wouldn't say don't use them, but don't expect to be going full throttle the entire flight because they sag really bad under load. Because I think they just can't handle the current because they're so small. I think this quad would be better suited to a 500 to possibly even 600 milliamp pack.
Which milliamp were you using when you flew?
I was running the Longbow 450s and the Wild Scorpion 500 3 cells.
Was there a big difference in the two?
I got a little longer runtime, but the biggest thing is I noticed the battery wasn't sagging as low under load. Now it's still, because of the thinner wire, is definitely sagging, but I felt like I had more power later in the thing.
Speaking of thinner wire, when I was talking to the manufacturer, they are going to upgrade our wire.
They are going to address that?
They are upgrading our wire. They said, oh yeah, it's easy.
So
like, well, why didn't you do it the first time?
18 gauge wire?
Okay. Whatever, yes.
Okay.
Next size up.
All right, so 18 from the 20. Yep. All right, cool.
What else? The camera, how's the camera with that run cam? Because that thing is awesome.
The run cam, okay, the 2.1 lens is too wide. So it does need to run a 2.3. Otherwise, you're going to have to take a Dremel tool or change out the front standoffs in some way.
Forget that. That's a small little thing.
So 2.3 lens. I would like a 2.1 to get with the fixed mount on this. I would like a 2.1 lens, but if I can't run it without a ton of mods, it's not a deal breaker to me.
Okay.
It's just something I would prefer. The other thing, the motors, I did soft mount the motors because the vibration was pretty bad out of the box. I think this is something, either electrical tape or silicone soft mounts or something to that effect would be a very wise investment for that. They're only a couple bucks online. We'll have those soon.
All right. Receiver, how's that receiver on that little guy?
It's an XM Plus. They did not flash the telemetry firmware on it.
And more on that, I hate to interrupt. They are flashing our batch, and they actually went to the FrSky directly, and they're going to work hand in hand with them.
And that was actually one of the things I noticed after flying is it didn't have the OSD was just locked at 49% because it was off basically.
Yeah.
The XM Plus receiver has the capability to run OSD through one of the channels, and then the OSD can pick that up and tell you RSSI in the corner, which that's a great feature. That's one thing you're not going to find with the Spectrum and the FlySky model, which is why we opted to just get the Taranis one on this one.
So I know the first time you when you did a one over, you mentioned something about the ESCs. How did they handle it for you?
I didn't notice, like, I didn't fry one, but even though I killed the motor, I didn't fry an ESC. I'm pretty fortunate with that. They were running, the motors were running pretty warm. A little more tuning probably needs to be done before, though. The soft mounts did help between the heat and all that from the vibrations. But I still wish it was more than a 10 amp ESC.
Aha! My third secret to Will, let him know.
Wait, what?
They are going to give us a batch going forward. The ones from Grayson Hobby will have 20 amp ESCs.
They're going to do that?
They are going to do that.
Okay,
yeah.
So they actually listened, and that's one thing I'm really glad.
So we got the flashed receiver, we got the thicker gauge wire, and most importantly, we got the 20 amp ESCs. Now, 20 amp ESCs are going to be a few bucks more than the initial 10 amp ones, but it's well worth it.
That's I mean, that's like 3 of the 4 complaints I really had from looking at this thing.
Yes. So you're welcome. That's it.
All right. Well, we should cut to the DVR footage of me crashing. Just go ahead and put that on repeat, right?
Hey guys, be sure to go sign up for email, do our Facebook page, do our Instagram page, do our Twitter, come to the shop. That way, when they come in, will you be the first to know? We're not getting a lot because they have another secret coming out later on.
Yes.
It's not going to be this model. This model is maxed out, but they're going to come out with a smaller and a larger model. I'm not sure about those yet. We haven't seen them. Yeah. They're going to be October, December-ish kind of time frame. So,
based off what I know, I think we might be seeing more SPC in the future in addition to the other quads we carry.
Yes. So, all right, here's DVR.